Well, have you missed your princess? Well, I am here now. It's been a month since I've been with you. Behold your princess. No, 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 no. Let me kiss your hand. How glad to see you at last, Holy Father. I'm sure you've forgotten your princess. How grateful it is to be here, although I cannot express it.
Certainly, I understand Your Excellency. Has Your Excellency come for a long stay?
I shall stay the night here. I want the rest of my soul among you, Holy Father. Doctor, I expect you don't recognize me.
Yes, Princess, I recognize you.
Oh, thank you. I was afraid that you two had forgotten your princess. Well, people only remember their enemies, but not their friends. Have you two come here to pray?
I'm the doctor here. I spend the night here in the monastery every Saturday.
Well, how are you? I heard that you lost your wife. What a calamity.
Yes, Princess.
How long it is since we met? 5 years? How much water has flowed under the bridge? How many changes in that time? It quite frightens one to find of it. You know, I am married. I am not a countess now, but a princess. And by now, I am separated from my husband too.
Yes, I heard so.
God has sent me so many trials. No doubt you've heard too, that I am almost ruined. My Dubovki, Sofiano, and Kirkakovo have all been sold for my unhappy husband's debts, and I have only Branovo and Mihalsvo left. It's terrible to look back. How many changes and misfortunes of all kinds. How many mistakes.
Yes, Princess. Many mistakes.
Well, what mistakes are you talking about?
You refer to them so you know them. Why talk about them?
No, tell me, doctor. I shall be grateful to you too. And please, don't stand on ceremony with me. I love to hear the truth.
I'm not your judge, Princess.
Not my judge? What Anton you think? You must know something about me. Tell me.
If you really wish it, very well. Only I regret to say I'm not clever talking and people can't always understand me. A lot of mistakes, but the most important of them, in my opinion, was the general spirit that prevailed on all your estates. You see, I don't know how to express myself. I mean, chiefly the lack of love, the aversion for people that was felt in absolutely everything. Your whole system of life was built upon that aversion. Aversion for the human voice, faces, head, step, in fact, for the everything that makes up a human being. And all the doors on the stairs, there stand sleek, rude, and lazy grooms, and liberty to prevent badly dressed persons from entering the house. In the hall, there are chairs with high backs so that the footmen waiting there during the balls and receptions may not soil the walls with their heads. In every room, there are thick carpets that no human step may be heard. Everyone who comes in infallibly warned to speak as softly as little as possible, and to say nothing that might have a disagreeable effect on the nerves or the imagination. And in your room, you don't shake hands with anyone or ask him to sit down, just as you didn't shake hands with me or ask me to sit down.
By all means, if you like. Really, to be cross about such trifles.
But I'm not cross. To be honest, I've long waited an opportunity to tell you all I think. That is, I want to tell you that you look upon the mass of mankind from the Napoleonic standpoint as food for the cannon. But Napoleon had at least some idea. You have nothing except aversion.
I have an aversion for people. I have.
Yes, you. You want facts? By all means. In Mialtsevo, three of your cooks who have gone blind from your kitchen from the heat of the stove are now living upon charity. All the health and strength and good looks that is found in your hundreds of thousands of acres is taken by you and your parasites for your grooms, your footmen, and your coachmen. All those two-leg cattle are trained to be flunkies, overeat themselves, grow coarse, lose the image and likeness. In fact, young doctors, agricultural experts, teachers, intellectual workers generally, think of it, are turned away from their honest work and forced for a crust of bread, which make every decent man feel ashamed. Some young men cannot be in your service for 3 years without becoming hypocrites, toadies, sneaks. Is that a good thing? Your polished superintendents, those abject spies, all those Casimirs and Catons, go hunting about on your hundreds of thousands of acres from morning to night. And to please you, to try to get 3 skins of 1 ox? Excuse me, I speak disconnectedly, but that doesn't matter. You don't look upon the simple people as human beings. And even the princes, counts, and bishops, and who used to come to see you, you look upon simply as decorative figures, not as living beings. But the worst of all, the thing that most revolts me, is having a fortune of over 1 million and doing nothing for other people. Nothing.
That's not true. I've done a good for other people. You know it yourself.
Nonsense! Can you possibly go on thinking on your philanthropic work as something genuinely useful and not a mere mummery? It was a farce from beginning to end. It was playing at love your neighbor, the most open farce which ever children and stupid peasant woman saw through. Take for instance, your, what is it called? House for homeless old women without relation, of which you made me something like a head doctor, and of which you were the patroness. Mercy on us! What a charming intuition it was. A house was built with bracket floors and a weathercock on the roof. A dozen old women were collected from the villages and made asleep under blankets and sheets of Dutch linen and given toffee to eat. It was farce. The attendants kept the sheets and blankets under the lock and key for fear the old women should soil them. Let the old devil's pepper pots sleep on the floor. The old women did not dare to sit down on the beds, to put on their jackets, to walk over the polished floors. Everything was kept for show and hidden away from the old women as though they were thieves. And the old women were clothed and fed on the sly by other people's charity, and prayed to God night and day to be released from their prison and from creating exhortations of sleek rascals to whose care you committed them. And what did the managers do? It was simply charming. About twice a week, there would be 35,000 messages to say that the princess, that is you, were coming to home next day. That meant that next day, I had to abandon my patients and dress up for the parade. Very good. I arrived. The old women and everything clean and new are already drawn in a row waiting near them. Struts the old garrison rat, the superintendent with his mawkish, sneaking smile, and old woman yawn exchange glances, but are afraid to complain. We wait. The junior steward gallops us. Half an hour later, the senior steward, then the superintendent of the accounts office, then another, and then another of them. They keep arriving endlessly. They all have mysteriously solemn faces. We wait and we wait. Shift from one leg to another. Look at the clock. All this in monumental silence because we all hate each other like poisons. 1 hour passes, then a second, and then at least the carriage is seen in the distance, and you get out of the carriage, and old hags at the word command from the old garrison rat begin chanting, "The glory to our Lord Zion, the tongue of man car express." A pretty scene, wasn't it? And the school? Do you remember how we wanted to teach peasant children yourself? You must have taught them very well, for very soon the children all ran away, so that they had been refreshed and bright to come and be taught. And you remember how you wanted to feed with your own hands the infants whose mothers were working in the fields? You went about the village crying because the infants were not at your disposal, as the mothers would take them to the fields with them. Then the village foreman ordered the mothers by turns to leave their infants behind your entertainment. A strange thing! They all ran away from your benevolence like mice from a cat. And why was it? It's very simple. Not because our people are ignorant and ungrateful as you always explain it to yourself, but because in all your fads, it will excuse the word. There wasn't a happy or love kindness. There was nothing but desire to amuse yourself with living puppets, nothing else. A people who does not feel the difference between a human being and a lapdog ought not to go in for philanthropy. I assure you, there's a great difference between human beings and lapdogs.
Go away. Go away!
And how you treat your servants? You treat them as the lowest scoundrels and don't look upon them as human beings. For example, allow me to ask, why did you dismiss me? For 10 years I worked for your father and afterwards for you. Honestly, without vacations or holidays, I gained the love of all for more than 70 miles round. And suddenly, one fine day, I am not informed that I'm no longer wanted? What for? I have no idea to this day. I heard afterwards that my wife went without knowledge 3 times to intercede with you for me. You wouldn't receive her? I am told she cried for your home, and I shall never forgive her for it. Never! Forgive me, princess. I've given way to malicious for my feelings and forgotten myself. It was not right. Princess, I've been waiting here to see you. Forgive me.